So this is my first Dharma talk this year. I took a little break because I needed to figure out something in my own search of truth. And in that process, I lost my voice. Not literally, it's a figure of speech. But now things are falling into place and I want to speak. But before that, before sharing my personal story, I guess, I went to pay respect to the topic of this year's Dharma talks, which is harmony in society. And what is harmony in society? Today we will chant, it is in our chanting book, that harmonious society is one where bhikkhus, or all the members, dwelling in concord, harmoniously without disputes, blending like milk and water, looking at each other with eyes of affection. Beautiful. And what do we need to do to have that? We need to practice 6 harmonies. First one, harmony in sharing same viewpoint. Right now, we all know, polarized society, that we have very different views on what is right, what is wrong. It's very easy to get in conflicts. And when we want to live in harmony, it's good if we share the same. Next one is observing the same precepts or following the same rules. Just imagine you're driving on the road and someone decides that driving on the red light is a better idea, right? Probably again, we're going to have conflict. So if we want to have a harmonious society, it would be good if our rules that we decide to follow are similar. The next one, harmony in living together. It is taking care of the place that we're sharing. If we're staying at the monastery, we're taking care of that place. We're taking care of our house, our street, our district, our city, our country, and our earth. I hope we, as Dharma practitioners, all understand that we're here brothers and sisters on this earth, and it depends on us personally, each person, to take a good care of this place where we're living. Unfortunately, not everyone share the same viewpoints. We have conflicts. The next way to have harmonious society is when we're able to speak without conflicts. Sometimes problems do arise. Sometimes disagreements arise. We need to learn how to express ourselves without getting into fight, without blaming each other, without using harsh words. And there is a way to discuss with each other as adults, having a civilized conversation, when we can figure out what is the best way for us to move on. Next way is to experience Dharma bliss. Again, it's not only about a monastery. Imagine someone having a good project that they would like to work on in their jobs. And everyone in the whole group is so excited. They're researching every day. They want to find, I don't know, a new treatment for cancer. Right? And they do experience happiness when they find it. Right? They have the common goal, same goal that they would follow. Way to help people. So again, if you want to have a harmonious society, it's good to experience the same way of joy. If someone thinks that to experience joy is to, I don't know, abuse others, for example, again, we have conflicts. So if we want to build a harmonious society, we need to understand what is the good way to experience joy that everyone can share. And the last one is about sharing. When we live in a monastery as monks and nuns, we want to share all the material benefits the same. right? When people are donating money or they donating some kind of material goods, we want to make sure that everyone receives the same portion. But it also can be transferred to, again, the job side, for example. This we use the fairness. So more skilled, they receive a little better salary. The less skilled, less experienced, less salary. But it's fair. And these are great ideas. Great ideas. In order to have harmonious society, this is what should happen. In reality, I have a question. Have you ever seen a society like that? Me neither. Never. So what do we do? What to do if our ideals that we need to strive on to make sure that it's happening, at least in our own self, are not the reality? We need to understand that ideals are something that we can make effort to do, but we don't expect it from others. It is impossible, fortunately. The reality of this human birth, of this planet Earth, is that this is the place of suffering and conflicts. And if we want to do better, we need to work on our own. And I came up with this whole presentation when I was doing my personal retreat here alone in December. I was staying in Changwu for 17 days alone. And I thought that I read the most important Buddhist book, the original sutras that Buddha was saying, Samyutta Nikaya. I thought that I learned read it all. But in reality, I opened actually two books. In one edition, there are two books, not one big one. So I opened the book here, and it was about six sense organs. And I realized I never read it. My goodness, I'm a nun already for 3 years, and I never read the most important book. Embarrassing. So every day I would read one or two sutras. I would write them and contemplate, meditate, and then next day and read them again and read a new one. And that's how I finished the whole book on six sense organs. And I understood something about sense organs, that there are billions of problems outside. Billions, trillions, I don't know, uncountable things. And if we try to fix all that, it is impossible. But if we are able to take a step back and to deal just with six, in Chinese you say six like six things, which are his, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. We can deal with six. Six is possible. Outside, impossible. Six is possible. Why is it important? Because how do we know about the conflict? We know about the conflict through the eyes, through the ears, through the nose. That's why we can deal with six, and that's how we can change them. But before going there, let's reflect a little bit about three qualities. If we look at the person in front of us who's causing us maybe difficulties, struggles, and we think, you're a bad person, we see him or her as self. We do not see it as causes and conditions. When we understand impermanence, this person sometimes good, sometimes bad. Maybe for me bad, maybe for others good. Because she cannot make me fully happy all the time. There is no self. If that person maybe wished and it was under his control, he would make himself happy all the time and me happy all the time. But it is not possible. So when we know those three things, we apply it to the content. So again, how do we receive the information? We have sense organ. For example, eye. We have the object. All the things that we perceive with the eyes, we call them form. It doesn't really matter. All the material objects that we see, we call them. And we need to have consciousness, which means if you're sleeping or if you're under anesthesia, someone is opening your eye, you're not going to have the contact because conscious is not there, right? So in order to have contact, we need to have all three. So three things give us contact. When contact is happening, so when we have contact produces feeling. And there is only three types of feelings. They're either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. No other types. So again, right here, we only have three sense organs: eye, ear, and brain, mind. Because the conflict is easier to perceive through those three things, right? Maybe we see people fighting. So eyes are seeing the form of people fighting. Or maybe someone is saying some abusive words to you or to each other. We receive it through ears. Or maybe in the mind you keep fighting, so arguing. Actually, of course, other sense organs also can receive, if people are fighting and the blood is shed, we can smell the blood. So we can receive the conflict through the nose too. If someone's punching us and we have the taste of blood in our mouth, we also can receive the conflict information about conflict through our tongue. Or if someone's punching us, we can receive the information about conflict through our body. Three things: sense organs, sense object, and consciousness united together, giving us contact. Contact giving us feeling. Feelings can be pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. But the thing is, and these numbers are just my imagination, but I imagine that we have a tiny portion of pleasant feelings, a little bigger portion of unpleasant feelings, and a very, very big portion of neutral feelings, those that we don't care. Like, for example, right now, maybe. Do you feel very happy or joyful? Maybe there's some interesting information. Yeah, maybe there's some. If you're not sitting for too long, maybe it's kind of comfortable to sit, but it will turn into uncomfortable. There are a lot of unpleasant maybe things. Maybe the Zoom disconnection is not very pleasant, right? The distractions are not pleasant. And there are tons of information that we just ignore. Maybe the temperature, maybe the sounds, maybe the feeling of your clothes, maybe the feeling of your hair touching your body, maybe the smell. There's a lot of things that are just not aware. And the biggest problem is that we only want to have pleasant ones. We want to get rid of all neutral ones. We don't care about them. We want to not have unpleasant ones. And we're like, okay, this tiny portion, this is good. And this is where we make the huge mistake. This is why this is called not being awake, unenlightened, because we think that by our desire, our wish, we can change the reality. Reality is like this. We have both of them. And the quality of the feeling doesn't really depend on us. If someone's coming to me with the knife and hurting me, I cannot just like, okay, let's make it pleasant feeling, let's make it pleasant feeling, right? We have a little bit of control, and with the practice, we can train our mind to be at peace, even in the most horrific situations. But it is not very easy. But there is a way to do it. So Buddha said that sense organs are impermanent. Eye is impermanent. It was impermanent before, in the past, for all the people. Means when we were young, we cannot see very good. Kids, our mom's face, kids, infants, right? Infants, it's blur. Face is not, cannot focus. Slowly, our visions get better, but then at some point, maybe our eyes starts getting worse. If you're very lucky, until maybe 40 or 50, you're still good. But then anyway, your eyes will get worse. All the objects outside. Our ears are impermanent, right? At some point, we will start having difficulties hearing. It is like that for everyone. And because it's impermanent, it is suffering. It is unsatisfactory. And the thing is, only look for future to have pleasant things. I go and buy a new house. How do I choose a new house? I want it to be good. I want it to be comfortable. I want to experience peace in my house. I want to have good feelings in my house. I choose a partner for my life. How do I choose? This person will make me happy. Right? That's how we choose. That's what we hope for. And Buddha says, one who seeks delight in future sense organs seeks delight in suffering. And one who seeks delight in suffering is not free from suffering. What does it mean? Does it mean I need to shut myself, stay in the cave, see no one, have no house, and just experience the suffering itself? Is that a way? I think no. Probably different people will say differently. I do not agree with that. As much as I understand, the real freedom from suffering is when we are awakened to the truth that there are three different feelings, pleasant and neutral. And if you're able to be at peace and at ease with whatever arises through the practice, then you're free from suffering. And it is not some kind of, I don't know, magical attainment of only those unique people who are wearing robes and sitting in the cave. No, if you're able to see the reality as it is, okay, there are a lot of unpleasant things, and it looks like it's going to get worse in the nearest future. What do I do? How do I train my mind? How do I behave? How do I make sure that my mind is cool, calm, and collected, where through the calmness, through non-attachment, through non-grasping, I'm able to feel through tranquility the joy of just being present. And when I'm joyful, even at looking at bad things, it is possible. This joy that it's not like you're looking at someone killing someone else and you're happy. No, it's not about that. When our mind is peaceful, it produces some kind of hormones that make you joyful. It is possible. Even when you see difficult times, your mind is kind of like the same thing that's happening with the drug, but right now you don't need it, right? Through the breathing, through the ability to stay present, it is possible to have that. And when your body and mind is peaceful and joyful, you are free. There's no shaking. Oh, I hope that this is not happening. Oh, I hope that the world will be different. Oh, I hope that she will not act like that. Or he will not act. This shaking is creating the suffering. When we're able to be just present, just joyful, there is no hesitation. And this is their way. This is the freedom from suffering. Again, it's not something very, very unique. And to do that, Buddha says we need to practice revulsion. It's a very interesting word. It is not hate. Revulsion is when we're able to turn around, turn away from seeking delight in pleasant sensations. But how difficult it is, I want to show you with one funny video. It is here, and I hope it's... Yes, it's here. So, imagine, this kid never tasted ice cream before. So, it doesn't matter how many times your parent or some wise monk tell you, let go, let go, let go. Our brain are wired so hard on the fact there is pleasant, more, give me more, give me more. And again, this is only a tiny portion of our life. But we just want to concentrate on that and having to get this more, this more, this more. When we're able to see, okay, pleasant feeling, pleasant feeling, pleasant feeling, it's just observe it. Through that, we're able to develop some kind of freedom, a little bit of freedom. And I must say, I prepared a lot of slides. Maybe this one is shit. Okay. So to get to that insight, to get to this ability to be free, there is a foundation to build those things on. The first one is wholesome karma. We need to make sure that we're not doing anything bad that creates bad results, right? If we think, okay, I want to be enlightened, but let me go home and have an argument with my parents. It's not going to work. So we need to try to practice good deeds by body, speech, and mind. By body, we don't want to hurt no one by killing. We don't want to steal anything that is not given to us. And we don't want to commit sexual crimes and misconduct that hurt other people. This is by body. By speech, we don't want to say abusive words. We don't want to say lies. We don't want to have too much meaningless talks. And that's the fourth one. Divisive, thank you. Yes, the conflict, we don't want to create conflict. And by mind, we don't really want to dwell too much in greed, hatred, and delusion. Of course, this will come with a practice, but first one, body and speech is very important. When we're able to get there, we can practice hard. It's because we already have the freedom a little bit. Usually when we come to monastery and Master Jiru is very correctly ask us, please be mindful. Can we make it? Most of the time, I don't know about you, but I remember when I just came here, I was like, I just remembered I need to be mindful, but I couldn't be mindful. Like I would walk around, you need to be mindful, but how? You're just unable to be mindful because there is this baggage of unwholesome karma that's pulling you back. So when we have established mindfulness, on that base we have concentration. Concentration is when we can let go of other thoughts and just stay with something that we choose. And when we have concentration, we have insight, the wisdom, we realize, it's true. Sense organs are impermanent. They are suffering, they are non-self, and I don't have to grasp. Before that moment happens, before you have this concentration, it doesn't matter how many times someone tells you, it doesn't matter how many times you read it in a book, it doesn't matter how many times you agree with that intellectually, it's not going to work. We need the concentration power to have the insight. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm done. I'm turning around. I'm doing something with my life. So I'm getting closer to 30 minutes already, and I have a lot of things that I'm not going to talk about. But I will talk a little bit about unconditioning. So coming back to the topic of this talk, which is harmony in society. So what do we do? Right? According to what was said right now, it's like, it's not reality. The harmony is not happening. So give up? No. First, we need to find the harmony within ourselves. So me being a person with a psychological background, those things make sense. I want to share a little story about one psychologist was present in some kind of activity in kindergarten. And this is about how trauma is created. Just think about it. Trauma. What do you think about childhood trauma? How bad it is. And I want to share with you that trauma is something more, not only those horrific things that happen to us. Mind creates trauma everywhere. There was a program, kids have to learn the poem and present it. And 10 kids finished presenting, everyone applauding, parents are happy, everyone's happy. And the time we need to wrap it up. And there was one girl that was left, and the teacher told her, okay, sorry, we don't have time, let's move on. And the girl really wanted to perform, and she heard that, and she was frozen. The psychologist saw that, and she went to talk to her, and she's like, oh, how do you feel? And the girl is like, it's just frozen. It took psychologists few attempts to tell, you can maybe tell me later on. I think it took her like half an hour, 1 hour later, she was able to make that girl speak. And when said the poem, her body gave relaxed and she became alive again. So is that a traumatic event? But in reality, just imagine how many things like that happened to you in your life. How many times were you frozen? How many pieces from you being a whole united creature fell off? I was always questioning myself, what's wrong? Nothing bad happened to me. No one abused me. My parents were very nice to me. I had a very good childhood, but I was so broken. And the thing with the trauma is when sometimes the thing outside reality triggers us to have similar reaction. We do not act as adults anymore. We act like that child who experienced the trauma. For example, that girl, if she didn't experience the talk, she was not able to say her poem. Next time, maybe in the meeting, someone ignored her. It's not a big deal. It doesn't have time, right? But she will have like a very big reaction. You ignored me. No one listens. No one cares about it, right? Some of us maybe remember the situation. So it's not really about being an adult that something triggered unhealed trauma from the past. And right now, I myself, I found the way to uncondition that because we are conditioned to experience those things. And I found the way how to get those pieces out to be as a whole human again. And this is what I want to pursue because I tried it on my own and it helped me. And I tried it with others and I see how that unconditions them. When someone's come to me and tells, oh, that person is like this, that person is like this, I don't see it like this. I don't see a person. I see condition. And because conditions exist, because conditioning exists, it is possible to uncondition. So I feel right now something happened in my own personal practice in meditation where I was able to unify and become whole again. Not fully, I still need to practice that. But I was able to get some of the conditions out, and I feel a very strong urge to go and help others to do things like that. And things are changing for me, and I'm moving forward with no fear, no regret, no shame, no guilt, no remorse. I'm going forward with a lot of gratitude. Master Ju is a teacher of mine who taught me a lot of things. Without his help, I would not be able to be where I am. This place, ngke helped me a lot. She's very kind person. And the MABA community and all monastic and Dharma community and Sangha community helped me a lot. And I hope to give back, helping other people. This is my way to practice harmony in society by finding the harmony within myself. And I hope we all can find the way to bring more harmony and peace in the future.